Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to design the part seen here. After we design it, we're going to learn how to machine it using CAM software. All right, so this part will serve as an entry-level CAM assignment where we start learning about the various types of tool paths, such as facing, pocket milling, slots, engraving, and so forth. So whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. Come on up here to design, and we're going to start a new design. All right, so let's come on up and start a sketch here on our XY plane. And we're going to create a 2-point center rectangle. So come on down here to create and grab your 2-point center rectangle. Okay, and we're going to drag out a center rectangle that's roughly 3 by 6 inches. So in the highlighted blue section, I'm going to type in 3. I'm going to hit the tab button on my keyboard and I'm going to type in 6 and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead now and I'm just going to go ahead and delete my construction lines. And then I'm going to come on up here to fillet and I'm going to add 0.5 corner fillets to all 4 corners. So I'm going to change that 0.7 to 0.5 and come around and do them all. And that's it. Go ahead and hit enter. And let's go ahead now and finish our sketch. And we're going to extrude this guy 1 inch and hit OK. All right, once that's done, let's go ahead now and start a sketch here on the top of our part surface. And we're going to come over here to create. And we're going to project. And we're going to select project. And we're just going to project those filleted corners here. Hit OK. And notice these points pop up. So right there, I'm going to go to create and where I'm going to put a point on each of those. I'm going to put one there and you can probably guess what that's a 0.5 radius, right? Put a point there and put a point there, hit escape and let's finish our sketch. All right, now we're going to go ahead and place some holes at these 4 points. So I'm going to select my hole option. Okay. And I'm going to just click on that guy, that guy, that guy, and all 4 points that we just made. And I'm going to change this because obviously we don't want that. So we'll do a distance. These holes are going to go through all. All right, and we're going to make them tapped. And we also want to make them countersink. Okay. And we want to make, let's see here, the size should be 1/4 or 0.25 inches. Okay, so let's go up. There we go, right here. So select 0.25 and it will automatically assign them a distance of 1/4 and leave these by default. However, this top part right up here is very large, obviously our countersink here diameter, so we want to change that to 0.5. All right, and one thing that you should note is if you ever want to 3D something in Fusion 360, you got to check modeled if you actually want to 3D print the threads, okay? So in our case, we're going to leave it unchecked. Okay, and everything here looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and hit OK. All right, now let's go ahead and create a sketch again on the top surface here. All right, and we're going to come on up here to offset, and we're going to click there, and we're going to offset it inwards a minus 0.25 inches. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing for our countersink hole diameters here. So we're going to select offset again, and we're going to offset that guy. Okay. 0.25. Okay. And do the same for all the other holes here. 0.25, enter. 0.25, enter. And our last hole, 0.25, enter. Okay. Now let's go ahead and grab our trim tool here, and we're basically gonna trim everything so that it looks like this. So we have this radius here, or arc, along with our straight lines that we made earlier. So let's go ahead and keep trimming. All right, now let's go ahead and put some fillets. And remember, if you're an engineer and you're designing parts and you have a pocket, you always want to make sure that your pocket corners are round. You don't want any tight corners, all right? So we're gonna select right there, and we're gonna make these 0.25, and we're gonna do that all the way around. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, and finally one there. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, now let's go ahead and finish this sketch, and we're gonna extrude this guy in, okay, a minus 20.25 inch, or I'm sorry, 0.75 inches. Okay, and make sure it says cut and hit OK. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and create a slot here on the bottom of our pocket. So we're going to start a sketch right here on the bottom of our pocket. Okay, and we're going to create yet another 2-point or center rectangle, and we're going to click here at our origin and drag out a rectangle that is, let's see here, 0.25 inches. Hit the tab button by 3 inches, hit enter. Okay, and then I'm just going to come on over here, draw some circles and zoom in here. There's one. Find that midpoint, drag out another circle. There's two. Click the trim tool, and let's just get rid of that guy. So the same is true for slots, and just like pockets, you want to make sure that they're always rounded, okay? Because remember, your tools are round. When we're going to be coming through later with end mills, and end mills are round, and so they can't mill or machine 90-degree corners with sharp corners. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead now and hit escape. I'm going to finish my sketch, and I'm going to extrude this guy, and we're going to cut minus 0.25 inches. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and get our modify here option, and we're going to come down to chamfer, and we're going to place a chamfer all the way on the outer edge, and we want that chamfer distance to be 0.125 or 1/8 inches, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. Okay. All right, so the last thing we're going to learn how to do now is to add some text to an object, and a lot of the parts we mill or machine in our class, we're going to do some engraving, and we're going to engrave the text or your name or whatever you decide to add to your object. So let's go ahead now and start a sketch here in our pocket. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and I'm going to come over here to create, and I'm going to come down to text. And I'm just going to kind of click somewhere like right in here. Okay. And I'm just going to add your name or whatever text you like. I'm going to type in your name as an example. Okay, and you can change the height or size of it. The angle, you can also adjust it like this. Okay. And you can even change the font, but be careful with some of the fonts you choose, and then hit OK. And it looks pretty centered, but I want it nice and perfectly centered. So you notice when you do text, it adds construction lines around it. So you can take these construction lines and dimension them where you want here. So I'm going to send this guy a little bit more to the right, I'm going to make it 1.1 maybe, see what that does. Oh, maybe that's not quite what I wanted then. Let's try this side and make it 1.2. Okay, good. That's a little bit better centered. All right, and now I just want it centered a little bit better because I want my text to be a little bit closer or higher up away from our slot. So I'm going to take my dimension tool and I'm going to just dimension it. So it's a little higher up, like maybe 0.6, and that looks pretty good to me. Maybe 0.55. Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and finish my sketch. I got it nice and centered, and then I'm going to extrude it. And I'm just going to extrude it at minus 0.0625 or 1/16 of an inch and hit OK. All right, and the last thing you want to do, as we always do in my videos, is give it a material. So we're going to come over here to physical material and we're going to give it aluminum 6061. Okay. So come on down over here to metal and we're going to find aluminum 6061. And there's a lot of different types of aluminum. And we're just going to find good old aluminum 6061 here. Your basic, and we're going to drag it over here. Okay, so we've assigned it a material, we've made our part. In our next video, we're going to learn how to mill or machine this from a block of aluminum. If you're in my class, we're not going to actually make this part, but it's just kind of, like I said, it's kind of an introductory assignment where we start learning about CAM software. Anyways, I hope you learned something. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.